Welcome to Buckets, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. My name is Matt Moore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network. This is your Best Bets episode for Wednesday in the NBA Cup quarterfinals between the Oklahoma City Thunder and Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers and the San Antonio Spurs. We'll give you sides, we'll give you totals, we'll give you props, we'll give you all sorts of stuff to bet, and everything we talk about can be found in the award-winning Action Network app. So make sure to download that right now. Join me tonight to give some bets. Kyle Murray from Roto Grinders at KMurDFS, and my guy Sean Litle at Chicago Flow in the Action Network app and on Twitter. Make sure to follow both of them and check out their work all over the place. We will start with what we learned tonight betting on the NBA, as I have many things to complain about. I do want to let you know that right now is a great time for you to sign up for Action Pro in the Action Network app. You can get $20 off an annual subscription with promo code POD20 right now. Just visit actionnetwork.com/pro and you get $20 off with code POD20 at actionnetwork.com/pro. If you're watching at youtube.com/the Action Network, please give us a like and subscribe. Let us know your best bets in the comments. We'd love to talk about you guys' bets in Open Run. We love talking about it. Glad to have you guys with us. If you're watching on Twitter, head on over to YouTube and check out the show and give us a like and subscribe. And you can join the chat section where we oftentimes will respond to folks who are hanging out. Okay. So we'll talk about what we learned in the NBA tonight. Sean, what was your big takeaway from the 2 cup games tonight and what you bet?
The Orlando Magic are taking this thing extremely seriously, man.
Yeah.
They really want to be a part of this. They wanted to go to Vegas. Looks like they're going to try to push and win the whole thing. I really wish Franz didn't go down because I was really ready to back Orlando in a major way. He went down, and I just couldn't figure out a way that they could backfill that production and ball handling. But they looked really, really good tonight versus Miami. They ended the group undefeated. They're still undefeated. They had a plus 56 point differential in the group, and it was a good group. It wasn't a soft group like other big time squads had. So salute to the Orlando Magic. The NBA Cup is the real deal. Even though I don't know why didn't they have the floor up in Orlando? I don't know what that's about, but everything else looked extremely good at Disney World. So shout out Orlando. They look really, really good for the NBA Cup.
Yeah, I'm pretty annoyed with the Miami Heat at this point. They did the job in terms of like the under got home for me. I like that bet a lot, but like the cap was, hey, the Heat's half court defense is tremendous and the Magic's half court offense is kind of garbage, especially without Franz. Like that was just a big part of my cap. 80th percentile tonight for the Magic in the half court, 108.1. Desmond Bane did the thing, like just cooked and cooked that cap. You know what's funny is when they got out to the 30-17 lead, I immediately was like, well, this is dead. Heat's dead. Like
that's how
whenever
you
have the dog and they jump out early, I'm always like, oh God, no, not an early lead. Because it's never like, oh, they jumped out early and they never looked back. It's always like, and then the second quarter happened, and sure enough, fucking Magic went absolutely wild in the second quarter. I thought really disappointing performance by the Heat offense tonight. I thought, and honestly, more the defense. I expect the offense to struggle versus this, but man, was I surprised with how bad the defense was for Miami, getting cooked like that by this Orlando Magic team that really, honestly, since Desmond Bane made that 3-pointer, everything has turned around for them this season, and now they're back to being the team that they were supposed to be, even without Franz Wagner, who's going to be back in 3-4 weeks. The other thing that I think is really crazy is when you kind of look at the game script and everything in it, it's just like this all very much said that this is a great spot. Like, I don't regret the bet at all. I think Miami was the side. I just think Miami was the side here. Jim Turvey kind of thought the home court, it might be a little bit underrated because of how good the Orlando crowd was, but like the Raptors crowd was loud in the beginning and that didn't matter. The other thing that's really important actually here is so Orlando had won the first 2 matchups, hadn't covered either. Because this is now a 5th matchup between them and they won it, guess who was tiebreaker for that Southeast division? The Orlando Magic. Like, that could wind up mattering a huge amount when it comes to seeding when we get to April. So don't ever say that the NBA Cup games don't matter. Kyle, what'd you learn tonight?
Yeah, I learned giving a team a 16-point head start doesn't necessarily mean things are all said and done. I obviously gave out Miami -1.5 last night, and I felt good in the first 5 or 6 minutes, whatever it was, and then it went downhill pretty quick. I think it was a little, I don't want to say embarrassing, but to almost lose by double digits after having that much of a head start was a little bit of an annoying stretch. Also had Paolo 18.5 points, hooked at 18 there. I think honestly, I don't regret that bet at all because half of the cap for Paolo was I thought the market was off on his minutes. Talked about how I projected him for 32 minutes. He played 32 minutes. So typically when that happens, I'm not going to feel bad about a bet when I nail the minutes projection, as that's pretty much half the battle in NBA player props. But sometimes it just shakes out that way where you don't necessarily get the efficiency needed, which we did talk about. But again, 32 minutes I think was higher than where the markets actually had him. That number closed at 19.5 with juice to the over. So I think it was a good bet process wise, just didn't come through, and neither did the Heat. So it was a tough night for me. So looking for a nice bounce back for these Western Conference Cup games.
I think too, when a game comes in under like this and ends up being a lower scoring game, sometimes you just can't overcome the offensive display that Desmond Bane put on. He absolutely cooked the Miami Heat, and they had no answer. Tyler Hero tried his best to get going on multiple different occasions. He just couldn't hit anything from deep. And Desmond Bane just kept pouring it in anytime they needed a basket, and they just couldn't overcome that. Shout out Desmond Bane. Big time performance with Franz out.
Yeah, one more thing that I did potentially learn. I don't want to jump the gun too much, but it was something that I talked about last night was just the markets on these player props, just based on adjusting to the NBA Cup style of games. I kind of mentioned that I felt like it was going to be a halfway point between regular season and playoffs in terms of defensive intensity and whatnot. Both games did go under tonight, so not necessarily something I'm banking on going forward, but at least something I'm making a mental note of throughout these next handful or whatever it is NBA Cup games.
Yeah, it was a tough night for us over here on the show. So Joe gets hooked on Jalen Suggs over 4.5 assists. He finishes with 4. He had OG Anunoby over 14.5 points. He finishes with 13, despite like the Knicks blow out the Raptors and control this entire game. And Karl Anthony Towns, who I was on for the over on points, scores 14. OG only goes for 13, and Josh Hart goes for 21. What? Okay, sure. Brian Fonseca had Manuel quickly over 2.5 3-pointers made, and he doesn't play. He gets pulled at the last second and is out for this contest. Fonseca did get home on Paolo Banchero over 10.5 RA. This came in at 11. He got the hook on that one. So that one Knicks -4. Good night for Brian Fonseca last night on the show. We'll hope for better stuff tonight. My other frustration, I had Brunson over 6.5 assists based off of the cap of, the one thing the Raptors do well defensively. The one thing is that they actually defend very well in the pick and roll. Not tonight, because Jalen Brunson absolutely, and that may be honestly like part of like what that might be the big thing to kind of learn and take away here is in the cup games, they're not playoff games, but they are playoff games in that the star players will play more minutes and have higher usage and have bigger games. Like there's been some monster performances by the stars in the various cup games. And so like Desmond Bane's probably the Magic's best player with Paolo Banchero coming off of injury and his issues with efficiency. Massive night, right? Jalen Brunson's the best player for the Knicks. Massive night. So like it might be just as simple as kind of that. The other thing, I do this a lot where it's like, I like the Raptor or I like the Knicks and I like them like way over the number and you should bet them to win by double digits. And then I wind up taking player props for the starters when I know in my head that if the Knicks blow out the Raptors, then the stars, Karl Anthony Towns isn't going to play 37 minutes. He played 31. Like Jalen Brunson played 39 because they're like Mike Brown has just been possessed by Tibbs, and now he will just do this. But Yeah, it just kind of like a reminder of like blowouts can be weird for some of those more precise caps on the starters in those kind of situations. Okay, so we will do best bets, and we have a parlay for you tonight, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Very excited for the Western Conference slate of games. We'll get to that in just a second, but first, the Buckets Podcast is teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook, where new customers can bet $5 and get $200 back in bonus bets if your bet wins. Stay in on the action and use your bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. To get started, use promo code BucketsNBA when signing up with DraftKings. Again, use code BucketsNBA when signing up and bet $5 to get $200 back in bonus bets if your bet wins. The crown is yours. Okay, let's do some best bets for the slate on Wednesday night. We got 2 games in the association. And these are, I think these are bangers, even though we all kind of think the same thing will happen with OKC. In the early game, the Oklahoma City Thunder are 14.5-point favorites, down a full point from where it was last night. And this is juiced towards the Suns. Suns are taking money here at a big number at home versus the Phoenix Suns. No, we'll see what the injury report says about Phoenix in this one. 225.5 is your total. And the late game, I'm so disappointed. No Victor Wembanyama, because we don't get nice things. So no Victor Wembanyama. Lakers moved to -5.5 now on the spread. Total 237.5 is popping at some places. DraftKings Sportsbook still at the better number at 236.5 if you like the over. That's a little bit of a spoiler alert for you. Let's start with, you know what? Let's start with a nice combo play, because we have a combo for we're in alignment on one of our 3-star plays of the night, and that's me and Sean Litle, who we're going to take the over 236.5 with the Lakers and the Spurs. Sean, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, this is going to be a high-scoring basketball game. I see this game being in the 240s. Victor Wembanyama's been out the last 11 games, and over that stretch, Spurs are 7th in offensive rating, 5th in points per game. Lakers are 4th in points per game over that same stretch. So with Victor out, Fox coming back into the fold, and Co have been really efficient and really good on offense. Now, they have struggled against some really good, like the top Orlando they struggled against over that stretch offensively, one of the better defenses in the league. They struggled against Minnesota, one of the better defenses in the league. But against mediocre defenses, they put up big offensive numbers, and that's exactly what the Los Angeles Lakers are here. And then we could talk about since LeBron James has come back onto the floor as well. But 24th overall defensive rating, 26th at home at 119. They just play wide open offensive basketball at the crib in LA, at Staples or Crypto, whatever generation you are from. In LeBron's 7 games back, the defensive rating goes to 28. In those 7 games with LeBron James around the team and on the floor, they are one of, if not the damn near worst defensive team in the NBA. Defensive rating goes to 123. Overall, in that same stretch with LeBron James on the floor, they're 4th in offense. So it has been one-way traffic with LeBron on the floor. They just don't play defense overall. And then you throw LeBron James, old ass, in the mix, who I love, but the defense gets worse. That's just what it is. And they play one style of offense or one style of play, and that's offense first. So I think this game goes over. I think the Spurs are a live dog in this game as well. The Los Angeles Lakers play only tight-ass games. It seems like every other night. If you look at the point differential, the diff, it's only 2.2 on the west side. So I see this game being very, very high scoring. I like over 236.5, -115. If you go to the on-off numbers, anybody you plug in with LeBron, it doesn't help, no matter the combo. Reeves, Rui, LeBron, Luka, Reeves, Ayton, LeBron, doesn't matter. They struggle to cover. So, yes, I like the over in this game.
I like your cap better than mine because mine's a lot more simple. The Lakers are the number 1 home over team. They are 10-0.
Yeah, 10-0, I think, right?
10-0.
Yeah.
The Spurs are the number 2 road over team. They're 8-4 to the over this season. I make this game. No, I don't make it 237.5. I'll tell you that. I make it 245. That's I make this game like I think this is an up and down and like there's no chance for the Lakers to be able to slow down the guards for San Antonio. So they can miss, right? Like just like Orlando can make shots tonight. That's a thing that can happen. But to me, this is a high number. I don't care. This feels very much like it's going to be a track meet.
Yeah.
The Spurs, I don't think can defend Luka enough without Wembanyama to cut off the interior. And the Spurs are going to score, man. Like Luke Cornett's going to score. They're going to get pick and roll opportunities consistently with what they want.
I literally wrote down, I like Fox's matchup. I like Castle's matchup. I like Vassell's matchup. I like Harper's matchup. I like Luka's matchup. I like Reeves' matchup. Like, I just see buckets galore. And as into it as Orlando was with the crowd, I don't see that. I don't see Staples being a fortress tomorrow either. So, yeah, I like the over.
11-6, the Lakers over is when they play a team that plays faster than them this season. So when they face high-paced teams, they go over because they're an over team. So this one is pretty simple. Over 236.5 is our 3-star for both me and Sean Litle. Kyle Murray has got something along those lines, something that would help us out with that over quite a bit with his 3-star player prop on the night. Kyle, what you got?
Yeah, I like Luka over on his points and assists, shopping around depending on where you find it. 41.5, 42.5. I like it at both numbers. I have him projected for 45.5 points and assists in this spot. Came back with a little bit of potential, rust in that last game after he had the 2-game absence, went, back home overseas for the birth of his second kid, came back and kind of looked like he didn't miss a step, right? And that was good to see him pick up where he left off. Had 42 points and assists and played 39 minutes. So I'm expecting, 38 plus minutes. If this game stays remotely close, I think he has a chance to play north of 40 minutes in this spot. Had a 40% usage rate with LeBron and Reeves. So it's very clear to me that Luka is the driving force of this Lakers offense. And I think that that's exactly what it should be at this stage of where they're at as a team. So projections, love Luka in this spot. The one pause that I have is my model is going to naturally feel a little bit inflated, I think. I also have this game projected well over the total. 246 is where I have it. So Matt being in at 245 makes me feel better. But that's the only pause I maybe potentially have about my personal model because of what I've seen in NBA playoffs and, even in the short sample of the NBA Cup games where the totals are just lower than where I'm coming in at. But nonetheless, if there's one player in this game that I'm going to be happy to back, even with potential inefficiencies in the model, it's Luka, because this is a spot where he is expected to crush time in and time out. Great matchup for him as well. So all things are looking up for me tonight for Luka.
Okay, I am now here to douse some flames. Because here's the trend in Cup knockout games after Raptors Knicks. I believe that one did that go over or under?
I think both went under.
They both went under. Yeah. So Cup knockout games are now 26-6 to the under.
Yeah, that's what I almost asked you that last night because it's something that I've noticed in NBA playoff betting when I kind of if I'm struggling, it's and I still think it's somewhere in the middle, but it's very clear that the markets are also reflecting that. I think this game would be in the 240s if it was a regular season game. So the markets are for sure telling us that as well.
Sorry, I counted both teams, so I double counted that. So just split that number in half. For the knockout rounds in the quarterfinals, it's now 10-3 to the unders going into tomorrow night. But nothing stops the overtrain with the Los Angeles Lakers. I feel confident we're going to get this one. Love this bet. We'll see how it goes.
And to really put on Kyle, Luka, that's fresh off the 12-hour flight. He looked like he had been in the hyperbaric chamber, not on a flight to get back to play. So Luka is on a different level at the moment offensively.
Yeah, and based on what we kind of said, like, hey, take the star players to have big star games, right? And we'll talk about another star player here in a minute, but we are going to go Oppo here because my 2-star and Sean's 2-star are against one another as we are on the spread for the Lakers and the Spurs. Sean, I will once again let you go first. What's your 2-star play?
Yeah, you went simple with the Lakers Spurs over. I'm gonna go simple here for the Spurs and the points. I don't think the Los Angeles Lakers are going to be interested in getting very many stops, and I think the Spurs are going to be able to put up a big number offensively. And I think 6. I think it's back to 5.5 now. I would bet either one. It's just too big of a number, almost 2 full possessions in a wide open basketball game where I like a lot of the backcourt matchups for the Spurs. So I think if it is as wide open as we say, I like the Spurs to hang close, if not win outright.
Okay.
And that's from a guy that's going to Vegas. So I would really like to see Thunder Lakers.
Yeah,
I would want nothing more than to see Thunder Lakers. If
surely Vic's got to come back if they make Vegas, though. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't mind that, but yeah, I think they keep it tight.
Okay, so this is 2-star play. Model's kind of all over the place here for me. Like, one of the problems is my priors thought San Antonio was kind of shitty because I just didn't like their wings and I wasn't giving them upgrades. And mostly it was like most of that number is just it's automatic stuff. It's like you take last year, I gave them the bump for Wembanyama projected to play more games this season. So I gave him like a bump for the time that Wembanyama missed based off of his EPM derived spread score. I factored in the additions that they got and getting healthier and took away guys like Chris Paul and came out with a number where I was like, yeah, I don't think that they're going to be very good. And it looked like that like for about a day, and then they turned into a really good team. And now I have them projected pretty well here. This is tight based off of my in-season numbers. It's minus 5.8 when I remove Victor from it. With Victor out, I make this 5.8. The only thing here is just we do see that home favorites do tend to do pretty well in these kind of spots. Home favorites are now, let's see, they are 9-4. Because the Magic flip back, so it's 9-4 straight up, 7-6 ATS, not 6-7. In home teams are in the quarterfinals. It's now 6-6 ATS is home favorites. Or no, because the Raptors weren't. So it's 6-5 as home favorites in this game, and 8-3 straight up. The Lakers, I think, have kind of. I am not necessarily 100% sold on San Antonio being quite as good as they played in the stretch. I think a lot of it was like who they ran into and when. And you kind of see that with games like where they get caught. Like the Pelicans almost caught them the other night behind Derek Queen's absolutely incredible performance. Now, look ahead spot to the cup. Maybe that's fair. But I'll go ahead and I'll lay the points to the Lakers 5.5. It's 2 possessions. They're at home. I like this set. So I'll take Lakers minus 5.5. And we'll as a spoiler here, Kyle's going to decide between the two of us for which one of us he likes to add into our parlay tonight. But before we do that, Kyle, let's go to your 2-star play, and then I'll come back and do my ones.
Yeah, a lot of love for this game. I'm staying here. Going to Dylan Harper, over 15.5 points and assists. I was talking about this before we went live a little bit. It feels like maybe a bit of a chase spot, but I mean, my projections feel fairly conservative on him, projecting for just 23.5 minutes and a fairly reasonable usage rate. And I still have him for 14 points alone, 4.8 assists. So my model really likes Dylan Harper, even considering it's on some of these, fairly conservative rates here. We're all over the over. This should be a spot where we are expecting offensive production and opportunity. So that is going to benefit Harper from, an environment standpoint. And bottom line, coming into last game, I was a little bit worried about how this team was going to divvy up their usage and their minutes when we saw Castle return to the lineup. But we saw Dylan Harper maintain a very solid role. He had a 28% usage rate last game. I don't expect him to, night in and night out have that sort of production. De'Aaron Fox only had a 22% usage rate in that game. But we also saw guys like Harrison Barnes and Julian Champagny have big games. Certainly not counting on that on a night in and night out basis. So I think there is a real role for Dylan Harper to carve out here. Still not expecting full minutes for Castle either. He'll probably play 30 plus minutes, but probably not 35, 36 minutes like we saw earlier in the year for him. So I still think there's plenty of opportunity for Dylan Harper in this San Antonio offense, not only in the points production, but also from an assist standpoint. He had 11 potential assists last game. So the numbers look pretty good for Dylan Harper in this one.
I like this play a lot, in part because when you have a defense like the Lakers that has a lot of holes in it, Harper is a guy that, even though like he's not a system player, and he's so raw that he has to do stuff by just kind of finding opportunities, and he's got a really good nose for that. The rookies that exceed are the guys that are either given the ball and just given an immense volume, or they're guys that understand about, all of the stuff that I really focus on, where it's like, this guy does this specific thing for this team and this is what he provides. As a rookie, you don't know any of that. So you just got to go out there and make plays. And every time I watch Dylan Harper, I'm like, that was a big play that he made. And it's just like, it's just cooking up stuff out of nowhere. It's a little bit of random basketball, and that's good. Like, you need a little bit of random basketball. And I think Dylan Harper is very good in those kind of chaotic situations, which bodes very well for his career. And I like it in this matchup versus the Lakers as well. Let's keep it with you.
What separates just like a lot of guys overall in the NBA, especially young guys, is dudes that could go out and get their own bucket regardless of what's happening around them on the floor. And Dylan Harper is one of those guys. It's as plainly put as that.
Yeah, I agree. Let's stay with you, Kyle, and let's do the official buckets play of the year, which is Mark Williams over 17. And Joe Delara somewhere is just like heard angels singing over 17.5 PR for Mark Williams here facing the Thunder. What do you like about this?
Yeah, I like this spot quite a bit. For Mark Williams, we saw him have a strong game last time out in a tough matchup against the Timberwolves. He was able to still succeed. Played 29 minutes, had I think 20 points alone. And again, on a fairly conservative minutes projection, because I'm wondering maybe if they do a few different weird things to match up with OKC. So only a 25-minute projection. I think he certainly has upside to play more in the spot. I have him for 11.8 points and almost 9 rebounds. So I think he has double-double upside in this spot as well. We've talked about on this show a couple times how OKC has struggled on the glass and to rebound. I think Mark Williams could really benefit from that matchup as well, maybe get some putbacks. So I do like this matchup for Mark Williams, but again, also like the case to be made on his minutes, where maybe the market is just underselling the potential upside that he has just in time on the floor. And naturally, if that's the case, where he's going to play into more minutes than the market's projecting, the numbers are going to end up looking like overs for Mark Williams. So again, I like the spot here on the 17.5 points and rebounds.
Last 2 times that Mark Williams has been healthy enough to play against the Oklahoma City Thunder with that ferocious defense, 22 PR and 27 PR. So it's pretty good. No Hartenstein. I like this a lot. I'm definitely going to tail Kyle on this play. Sean, what's your 3-star play of the night? Or 1-star?
Goes in flow with what we think about the game overall. And I'm going to I plussed it up a little bit. De'Aaron Fox, PRA 35 plus 111. You can get at DK, or there's a 32.5 at minus 120, right around that number. I believe you can also play that. But if the way De'Aaron Fox has been playing, I think this is a perfect spot for him to put up quite a few numbers. I was actually looking at purely assists initially, but I do think he can score in this matchup as well. So yeah, I'm going to go with De'Aaron Fox, go with the flow on the rest of the overs and the Spurs competing in this game. Lastly, if some of that stuff doesn't make you feel comfortable, I would also look at the Spurs team total. There's a 115.5 in the market. That seems short as well. If you think the game's going to go over and that they can compete like I do, that's also a play you could look at.
I like how you're like, I cannot stress this enough. The Spurs are going to score a shit ton on the Lakers.
Yeah, I think the Spurs are going to. I really do think the Spurs are going to put up a big number here.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's a lot of my cap is like, yeah, they're gonna put up a big number and the Lakers are gonna win anyway. But like, if the Lakers just have a bad shooting night, then the over hits and Sean gets home on the total. So I mean, got to have. I think that's definitely kind of in play there. Okay, my 1-star. I'm gonna grab the Suns here, and I get it. I get it. I'm not taking the money line. I think this is just too many points. It's not too many points by a lot. I don't think it's wildly off, but honestly, Hartenstein, I have him as a pretty significant drop in spread value, and being without him, I think kind of matters. The Thunder are above 500 ATS, but the margin is a little bit more narrow. And the Suns team competes pretty much every single night. And I haven't seen them have a lot of off days. I bet them immediately versus the Rockets when Book went out, because I thought the market was overrating Book's absence and underrating the rest of the roster, and they got creamed. They hung in for a half and then got killed. I should probably just take first half here is probably what I should do. I will play that too, but I am going to take Suns plus 14.5. I make it 10. I think they should be 10-point favorites versus the Phoenix Suns, which is honestly a huge compliment because I think the Phoenix Suns are very good. Devin Booker's questionable for this game. There's a chance that he does come back, and then you're going to get tasty CLV on this when you could just be like so happy that you get this. Tasty CLV when Devin Booker comes back and they lose by 20. Again, it's a 1-star play. I just think it's too many, and I've got projected under, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab the points here. I've thought about, okay, if you do like the Suns on the spread and you think that they can, but it's like I think they can hang within single digits. It's just not enough to get me invested on taking a money line sprinkle. I know I should based off of the Matt Mitchell rule. I just come on, the Thunder are not losing this. But I do see a scenario where it's like fourth quarter and the Thunder go up huge in the first half. And then all of a sudden it's the fourth quarter and the announcers are like, Brooks with a 3, and it's a 3-point game. I can absolutely see that scenario. And the Thunder close it out behind Shea. The bar is very low here for the Suns to be able to get this cover. And yet it feels so high because of how good the Thunder are. But I am going to go ahead and I'm going to grab the points with the Phoenix Suns for my 1-star play. So those are going to be our bets for the evening. To go over them again. Kyle likes Luka over 41.5 points and assists, Dylan Harper over 15.5 points and assists, and Mark Williams over 17.5 PR. Sean Litle likes Lakers Spurs over 236.5, the Spurs plus 5.5, and De'Aaron Fox over 35.5 PRA scripted. I like Lakers Spurs over 236.5. It's my 3-star. Lakers minus 5.5, and the Suns plus 14.5. Before we go, we will give you a parlay on the evening, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. We're going to take the over 237.5. We're going to take Dylan Harper 15 plus points and assists. We're going to take 30 plus De'Aaron Fox points, rebounds, and assists. So a little bit of a lower number on Sean's, a little bit of a lower threshold, and over 42.5 on Luka points and assists. So a little bit of a higher bump on Kyle's. Monster game from Luka, monster game from Fox. Good game from Harper. The game goes over. And Kyle is off of our cap. What do you like on the spread? Plus 5.5 or minus 5.5?
Yeah, I would say you're putting me in a tough position, but this technically was my idea to give the deciding vote. So I can't really back myself out of that one. So you both made good cases. I think it's going to be a competitive game, a close game, but ultimately my model does like the Lakers a bit more. So I'm going to take the Lakers spread. You talked about them last night on the podcast and why I think they have a good chance to advance. I used the word flow state quite a bit last night, and that was talked about in the chat. That was a funny little thing going. But I think Luka is just playing incredibly right now, and it's tough to not back him. So I think I'm going to take the Lakers side here. I don't even mind if you want to just do Lakers money line in the parlay, but regardless, either way, I think that's the spot I'm going.
What I love is that I've got Kyle from Roto Grinders, who is like, put the flow state. And I got Jim Turvey from Roto Grinders, who tried to sell me on Dallas Mavericks money line and did actually sell me on Dallas Mavericks money line versus the Thunder based on vibes. So that's
we got all the data.
Science. The hard sciences and the meta sciences both over at Roto Grinders. That's your parlay. That's a plus 1,100 play. If you play the over on Luka, over on Fox PRA, 30 plus, 15 plus Dylan Harper, plus 1,100 at DraftKings. The crown is yours. Thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate you guys being with us. Hope you guys enjoyed the Cup games. We'll be back tomorrow night. We'll talk about the Cup. reactions. We'll get into the Thursday slate as the regular NBA season continues to roll on. Follow Kyle Murray at KMurDFS on Twitter and the Action Network app. Sean Little's at Chicago Flow. I'm on HP Basketball. My thanks to David Payne, my master producer. My thanks to Gifford Gould helping us out on the YouTube side. Hope you guys have a great night. We'll see you guys again next time. Till then, skip buckets.